Rex Heuermann spent his days in Midtown Manhattan, running a busy architecture firm. To the outside world, he was a lifelong Long Island resident, a daily commuter, and a seemingly devoted family man. His professional life was unremarkable. He attended city planning meetings, filed standard permits, and engaged in polite small talk. He lived a life designed to blend into his suburban surroundings, ensuring he never drew a single glance of suspicion from neighbors or colleagues. But that ordinary facade required an audience. Whenever his wife and children left town, the commuter dropped his mask. The house emptied out, and a completely different entity emerged behind the closed doors of his Massapequa Park home. Rex Heuermann's most effective weapon was his absolute, boring normalcy. He proved that a predator can operate for decades, provided they never deviate from the script of an average middle-class life. We can see the isolation of his hunting grounds on this stretch of Ocean Parkway, near Gilgo Beach. In December 2010, a frantic search for a missing woman named Shannon Gilbert drew police out to this desolate, marshy barrier island. They didn't find Shannon right away. Instead, a police officer and his canine unit stumbled upon the remains of 4 other women: Maureen, Melissa, Megan, and Amber. They became known as the Gilgo Four. Each victim was wrapped in burlap and discarded exactly 500 feet apart in the thick coastal brush. As investigators scoured the area, the scale of the horror expanded. They eventually uncovered 10 separate sets of remains. But despite the mounting body count, the forensic efforts stalled out, leaving a serial killer to operate with total impunity for years. The killer targeted marginalized women and utilized a drop zone devoid of cameras or foot traffic. That combination created a massive blind spot, shielding him from law enforcement for decades. Heuermann approached murder the same way he approached building a skyscraper. He maintained meticulous blueprint spreadsheets to document his victims, and relied on dozens of unregistered burner phones to conduct his business. Inside his family's basement, he executed a rigid 4-day ritual. He used the first day for preparation, securing his victims' trust before bringing them home. The murder followed. Then came what he sickeningly referred to as playtime, a prolonged period spent with the bodies before he finally moved them. He treated the concealment phase as a logistical puzzle. He refined his body disposal method until he could execute it with extreme precision, actually timing himself with a stopwatch to measure his efficiency. We only know this because of a recent therapy confession. By the time he killed his 8th victim in 2010, his routine was so rehearsed that the physical disposal of human remains took exactly 37 seconds. He did not suffer from uncontrollable, impulsive fits of rage. He treated the taking of a human life as a large-scale project, demanding flawless execution and 0 structural errors. The case sat dormant until February 2022, when a new multi-agency task force was formed. Their mandate was simple: systematically review every overlooked detail and minor inconsistency in the massive cold case file. They revisited a specific lead from Amber Costello's roommate. Back in 2010, he told police that Amber had been threatened by a massive, ogre-like man with an empty gaze. Crucially, the man drove a first-generation green Chevy Avalanche. Investigators cross-referenced the physical description with digital data. They tracked burner phone pings to 2 tight geographic clusters: Massapequa Park and Midtown Manhattan. Searching motor vehicle records for a green Chevy Avalanche within those overlapping zones produced a definitive suspect box. Rex Heuermann was trapped. The hunt ended with an absurd climax. Law enforcement tailed Heuermann through Manhattan until he tossed a pizza box into a sidewalk trash can. Investigators recovered the discarded crust, and the DNA matched a single male hair found on the burlap sack of one of the victims. A decades-long effort to live off the grid was eventually dismantled by the unavoidable persistence of digital and genetic data. He was ultimately trapped by the very technology and biology he couldn't leave behind. This is Rex Heuermann in court following his arrest. By April 2026, He stood before a judge and formally pleaded guilty to the murders of 8 women, ending a decades-long pursuit. The confession extended beyond the courtroom. In a surreal arrangement, Heuermann sat on a prison phone during therapy sessions and casually detailed his clinical 37-second disposal rituals directly to his estranged wife and daughter. The media circus that descended on his suburban neighborhood reflects a wider public outrage. While Heuermann's family reportedly received a $1 million payout to participate in a documentary, the families of his victims are actively filing wrongful death lawsuits to stop them from profiting off the case. Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Vesipa Taylor, Sandra Costella, Valerie Mack, Karen Vergata. True evil rarely looks like a monster. It thrives specifically because it looks exactly like the utterly mediocre, unremarkable man standing right next to you.